The years leading up to 1914 found Europe in a state of unease. The great powers, puffed up with national pride and ambition, engaged in a dangerous arms race. Germany, newly unified and hungry for recognition, challenged Britain's dominance at sea. France, still smarting from its defeat in the Franco-Prussian War, yearned to reclaim lost territories. An intricate web of alliances further heightened tensions. Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy formed the Triple Alliance. On the other side stood the Triple Entente: France, Russia and Great Britain. Meant to deter aggression, these alliances instead created a hair-trigger situation. Any conflict, however small, threatened to drag all of Europe into war. Adding fuel to the fire was a fervent nationalism that gripped many European nations. People viewed their own countries as superior, fanning the flames of rivalry and mistrust. Within the Austro-Hungarian Empire, this nationalism proved particularly potent as ethnic groups like the Serbs agitated for independence. Looking back, we can see the warning signs of an impending catastrophe. Europe in the early 20th century resembled a powder keg primed and ready to explode. All it needed was a spark. On June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo, Gavrilo Princip assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia and declared war. The alliance system quickly escalated the conflict. Russia mobilized to protect Serbia, prompting Germany to declare war. Germany's Schlieffen Plan led to invasions, drawing in more nations. Nationalism, imperialism and militarism set the stage for war. The Schlieffen Plan, Germany's gamble for a quick victory, soon faltered. The German advance through Belgium was slowed by fierce resistance, giving France and Britain time to regroup. The Battle of the Marne, fought in September 1914, marked the end of mobile warfare on the Western Front. Both sides dug in, creating a vast network of trenches that stretched for hundreds of miles across France and Belgium. Thus began the gruesome stalemate of trench warfare. Soldiers on both sides faced unimaginable horrors. Constant artillery bombardments, machine gun fire that could mow down entire battalions, and the ever-present threat of poison gas. Life in the trenches was a nightmare. Soldiers endured cramped and unsanitary conditions plagued by rats, lice and disease. The constant shelling and fear of attack took a heavy toll on morale. Yet despite these hardships, millions of men fought and died in this brutal, unforgiving environment. Some battles stand out for their sheer scale and ferocity. The Battle of Verdun, fought throughout much of 1916, became a symbol of French resilience in the face of relentless German assaults. The Battle of the Somme, launched in July 1916 by the British, aimed to break the stalemate but achieved little beyond horrific casualties. Section 4. Machines of War Technologies' Impact on the Battlefield. World War I saw new technologies transform warfare. Machine guns turned battlefields into killing fields. Artillery rained down unprecedented destruction. Poison gas added a new dimension of terror. Chemical weapons caused excruciating injuries. Soldiers used crude gas masks for protection. Tanks appeared in 1916 to break the trench stalemate. Early tanks were unreliable but hinted at mechanized warfare. Airplanes began with reconnaissance, then aerial combat. Dogfights captured imaginations, but air power's potential was unrealized. Technological advancements increased the war's brutality. The conflict became a grim race between technology and tactics. Section 5. Beyond the trenches, other theatres of a global war. While the Western Front often dominates our understanding of World War I, the conflict raged across the globe. The Eastern Front, stretching from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, witnessed equally brutal fighting between Germany and Austria-Hungary against Russia. Here, vast distances and harsh weather conditions added to the challenges faced by soldiers. The Ottoman Empire, allied with Germany and Austria-Hungary, opened up new fronts in the Middle East. British and French forces clashed with Ottoman troops in the Gallipoli Peninsula, a disastrous campaign that resulted in heavy casualties on both sides. In the Middle East, T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia, helped to organize Arab revolts against Ottoman rule. The war also spread to Africa and Asia as European colonies were drawn into the conflict. African soldiers fought in battles far from their homes, while Japan, allied with Britain, seized German colonies in China and the Pacific. This truly global conflict touched every corner of the world, leaving an enduring legacy on the 20th century. Section 6. The Collapse of Empires, the Final Year and Armistice. By 1918, after more than 4 years of brutal warfare, the tide began to turn. The United States, which had entered the war in April 1917, bolstered the Allied forces with fresh troops and resources. On the home fronts, war weariness and economic hardship fueled calls for peace. Germany, facing mounting losses and dwindling resources, launched a desperate offensive in the spring of 1918. However, the offensive ultimately failed, and the German army, exhausted and demoralized, began to crumble. Austria-Hungary, torn apart by internal strife, collapsed in the autumn of 1918. On November 11, 1918, Germany, facing imminent defeat, signed the armistice that brought the fighting to an end. The Great War, the war to end all wars, was over, but its legacy of death, destruction, and political upheaval would continue to shape the world for decades to come. In Section 7, A World Transformed, the legacy of the Great War. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended the war but sowed the seeds for future conflicts. The treaty, driven by a desire for revenge and punishment, imposed harsh terms on Germany, including territorial losses, disarmament, and crippling reparations payments. These provisions left Germany deeply resentful and created fertile ground for the rise of extremism in the years to come. The war also shattered the old European order. The Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman and Russian empires, once dominant forces, collapsed, replaced by new nations and shifting alliances. The war's end ushered in an era of uncertainty and instability as the world grappled with the conflict's profound social, political and economic consequences. The Great War left an indelible mark on the 20th century. It shattered illusions of progress and enlightenment, revealing the dark side of human nature. The war's unprecedented scale of death and destruction forced humanity to confront the horrors of modern warfare, and its unresolved issues and lingering resentments would, tragically, pave the way for another global conflict just